Queen's Lead podcast. I'm your host, Amy Singleton, and as a child of the 80s, I'd love to say Queens rule, but they don't. Queens lead. Being a queen means you are worthy to be a leader of people. The guests on our show do exactly that. They are leading the way in their businesses, families, and communities. They're taking their rightful place in the spotlight, leading and inspiring the developing queens in all of us. Welcome to the Queen's Lead podcast. Welcome everybody to the Queen's Lead podcast. I'm your host, Amy Singleton, and today we are so excited to welcome Ashley St. Clair. She is a wife, a mother, and a photographer and videographer, empowering the lives of women around our area. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited to chat with you today.
Me too. We are excited to hear your story and learn more about who you are. So who is Ashley?
Oh man, how far back do we want to go?
Like this is about a 30 to 45 minute show. So, you know, you can gauge.
Cool. Okay. Let me just talk about the last 5 years of my life instead of going too far back. And I'll just give a glimpse into like little parts of that past life. Okay. So 2020, after COVID hit and everything, I had been working at a fine dining restaurant. I actually had worked for that restaurant for several years, like 12 years at the time. And I started dabbling in photography just as a, side hustle. I took a couple workshops here and there, done some traveling for some workshops and just really kind of following footsteps, just doing whatever. Didn't really know my purpose in life. Was still, I graduated college in 2012 and here we are not using that degree. Thank you. $60,000 in debt. Whee!
A degree in what?
Communication disorders. I was going to be a speech pathologist. Not the path for me, but I do like to talk. So COVID happened, lost my job. We kind of started coming back and things started kind of lightening back up again. So I was still doing photography in the meantime, since I wasn't able to work in the restaurant. Well, I fell on this page about boudoir photography. It was for boudoir photographers and kind of jumped all in. I mean, that's the short version of the story. I was like, ooh, I kind of like this, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't know if you're familiar. This is a beautiful little crystal shop here in Moore, Oklahoma called Cosmic Flora Crystals. And the girl who owns it is a Reiki healer. And I just adore her. But she had this open house. And so I pop in and I'm like, oh, okay, I want to kind of use a little bit and like help all these vendors that are here. So I like, I'll buy this, I'll buy that. And there's a guy doing a tarot reading. I'm like, sure, why not? Right. Same day, I bought the book called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. And if you've read that book, it's pretty intense. Like for me, it felt like he was telling my story. And so this book talks about, you just need to take the leap of faith, just trust in your spirit guides, blah, 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 blah. So then I go to this tarot card reading and I sit down and he's like, it just seems like you need to take a leap of faith. It's just like there's bigger and better things out for you. You just have to take that leap. That's what your spirit guides are telling me. And I'm just like bawling. I'm like, this is too many synchronicities and in a 3-hour period that I cannot no longer pay attention to these signs that are coming to me from the universe. And at that time in my life too, also, I wasn't sure about religion, spirituality. Who am I? Where am I? What's out there? And so I was still trying to like navigate that space. So I decided to go in the next day and I quit my job in Mahogany. I was like, I'm done. Here's my month's notice because I've been there for so long. I give them a month's notice. I was like, I know this sounds crazy to you and you don't understand that I'm quitting my job over a tarot card reading, but it just is, it's what I have to do. So I quit my job. I invested all this money in all of these workshops and guides to kind of guide me towards this boudoir photography. So then I launched my business and just kind of went all in. And even at the time, I've done so much healing, even from the time when I started to the time now of my own trauma, like my sexual trauma with my miscarriage, trouble in my, just all kinds of traumas that have gone through my life. So now I feel like my life's purpose is to be relatable, be authentic to other women and hold safe space for them. So when they book a session we come in and it's really funny because on all of my consultation calls, because I get all my clients on the phone first. I want to talk to them. I want to tell them what the experience is about, what it's going to cost, expectations, set them so there's nothing to be confused about. But I always tell them during the session itself, it's always important for me to be a woman, not just a photographer. So I always set aside enough time through my sessions to be able to put my camera down and be real and be able to listen and to be able to look people in the eyes and be like, I can feel you. I can feel your pain. I can feel your trauma. I am here for you. This is a safe space. I've had women cry in the middle of the session. I just got out of this domestic, this relationship where he like emotionally was abusing me, or I just got, out of a divorce and I haven't felt this pretty in so long. Like I just needed so much of this. And so, that is with photography, being able to show them and also being able to show them.
You guys may not be able to see this if you're on Spotify, but Amy's about to cry over here. Okay, keep going. This is great.
That makes me, I got chills right now. So it's just holding space for them and showing them that they are this beautiful, feminine, divine. I just made up my own word. That's super cool.
I like that.
Every day in our lives, we just stand in these identity titles and we're never like, it's so hard for us to just be feminine and sexy and do it for us because it's not for anybody. It's not for the viewer. It is for the consumer. It is feeling good in ourself. It is building confidence in ourself. It is loving and accepting our body for the way it is. That is my purpose, to help women like that.
Girl, come on with it. And I mean, not to point out the obvious, but you are a young woman. May I ask how old you are?
I'm 32. I turned 33 at the end of this month.
Wow. That is, what a realization and what a phenomenal story to be able to come to your purpose in life through something you enjoy, that was a hobby that you're able to have your creativity with, and also that healed you first.
Oh, for sure. There was so much of my sexual trauma that I hadn't like really dug through. And I found a group of women, and it's funny because in my own, and I feel like this is very common, spiritual journey, you go through this period of loneliness where you're just like trying to figure out who you are, trying to figure out who are your people. And I found a crowd of women that honestly the universe brought to me so I could literally just like let all of the like dirt out. And I was able to just feel free, feel vulnerable, and like get it out there. It's like, no longer is this a secret. This is what happened to me. This is how it made me feel. And I'm no longer going to let that hold power over me. I am going to rise above it. And I'm going to tell people my story. And so that people can feel like they are in a safe enough space to tell me their story, because all their stories are different.
That's incredible. And so you started gaining the knowledge from, it sounds like, mastermind groups and other groups of women and photographers. And you do, obviously you're doing boudoir photography now and other photography as well as videography, and have turned it into a whole ass business.
Absolutely. Yeah. I get to do what I love and I get to get paid for it, which is a bonus. But just being able to connect with women and see that change even in the day, like I have women that sit down in this very space right here and have cried over their pictures because they're like joyful tears. I've never seen myself this way. I'm clumsy. I don't, this is a whole ass vibe. And who is that? Who is that person? Because I haven't fully accepted that that's me yet. And it is kind of a process. So I am so grateful to be able to, and there's so many different women in our small community and like just this area that I just keep trying to reach out to, like, hey, how can I help you? How can we collaborate? How can we work together to fucking raise the vibration, to like collectively just help women see their worth and that they don't have to be alone. That's all of it.
Yeah. I love it. There are so many different avenues to that. I love that there's something for everyone.
Yes.
There's something for everybody to take from that.
Well, and you say, go ahead.
No, please keep going.
You said something for everyone. And I just wanted to like mess with that for a second, because I also think a lot of people have a concept of boudoir as young, beautiful women, which what is beauty? How is that defined? But there's so much, like I have women of all different sizes, extra small to 4X. I have women as young as 21 and as old as 65 come into my studio. There is no age limit, but I always try to tell my clients, you are never going to be as young as you are today. Why wait? My curvy babes, all my curvy babes. Oh, I shouldn't, the people that are like, I need to lose 10 more pounds. Do you though? Or do you just need to accept who you are? You can lose the weight if you want to, but do you love yourself here and now? Because I also tell my clients, hey, I have a rule. If it's permanent, it stays. And if it's temporary, it goes. So any like pimples or bruises I take care of, but babe, those stretch marks and those dimples and all that stress, all of that, it stays, sis. Yeah, I do a skin smoothing. Yeah. But I'm not taking that away. That is your story. That is your life. And your body walks you every day. So no, I'm not going to take that away. That is your story. So I just had to.
Oh, yeah. Smack it, man. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm a little bit older than you have been, but I think you were kind of on a tail end of the generation I grew up in, where every woman in my face, in every magazine, in 17 magazine, in Cosmopolitan magazine, Teen Beat. Okay. I had all these things, and on the commercials, even Maybelline, they're beautiful. They're flawless. They're white, they're thin, and they're perfect. And they're 25. That's it. That's all we had. And now to be able to see women like you bringing other shapes and sizes to the forefront, like Snag Tights, these other companies that are just forcing old, wrinkled, messed up, fat, thin, every color of the rainbow, in a wheelchair, one missing a leg. We are women. And it took me till I was damn near 40 years old to realize, yeah, God, I wish I felt beautiful when I weighed 300 pounds, because I did. And I feel beautiful now that I weigh what I weigh. And yeah, it's such a beautiful, refreshing, eye-opening thing for women that are now my daughter's age, that are in their 20s, that can now be like, yeah, I'm beautiful too. Like we're all beautiful.
And the more we have that, the more women we have saying that, doing that, the more other women are going to be like, you're right. I can love myself now. You're right. I can love the body I am in now. Can I change? Sure. If I want to, I will never stand against somebody getting any kind of like plastic surgery. If that makes you feel better, sis, you do it. I don't care. It's your body. Why is anybody else telling you what to do with it? You should, like, you want to get fake boobs? Go for it, sis. You want to get Botox? Go for it, sis. It's nobody's business. The only person who should care is you and how you feel. And if it makes you feel better, then fucking do it.
Right. Girl, I was sitting in the salon chair this morning. Thank you very much, Amber. Okay. I overheard a woman say, oh, guys, last night I got my husband's permission to go violet. And I wanted to, I felt a little icky. I'm like, you got his permission to color your hair?
Yeah.
Huh? What?
Giving away your power. Giving away your power.
No, it's called a partner, not a whatever. I don't even know. But I love that you're giving women the opportunity to, because like we take someone else's word for it, right? When they say we're beautiful, or we see someone else's photo, but when we have the opportunity to experience what it sounds like your clients go through, and then see the photo from almost like, I can only imagine it feels like an out of body experience to see yourself on this page and go, wait, that's me.
Yeah.
That's how other people can see me. I should see me that way. And what a confidence boost. I mean, the next step you take out of that room, their head's got to be so high.
Well, and I do like, as soon as I take a first couple pictures, I show them the back of the camera. So before it's edited, it's straight raw. Like, sis, this is you raw. Like, this is you. And they're always like, oh, and that's like my favorite part of the whole session, because you can see their eyes light up. They relax in their body because they're like, shit, I can do this. Because there's always so much like in your head, like, oh, am I going to be able to do as good as everybody else? Am I going to be as pretty as everyone else? Is this going to be, all of these terrible thoughts like in and out of our head. And so then there's just like this swoosh of relief where like, oh my God, this this is going to be everything I dreamed and more. And then I do a same day reveal. So they come back to the studio the same day and see their images. And it's just like a whole day of just like, yes, you are worthy of feeling sexy, even though you think you're clumsy and you don't wear makeup and you work, the night shift where you're like a nurse and you work so many ridiculous hours at a time. And so, yeah, it's a feeling and you could walk away with and just knowing. And that's, and the book too. It's like, I always tell my clients, on those days where you're bloated and you're on your period and you're feeling like crap, you go get yourself a glass of wine, a piece of chocolate, you go sit in your closet and you look at that album and remember how much of a baddie you are, even though you've been crying all day.
That's it. That's it. Girl, pick yourself back up. You can take that time and then pick up the book, look at the book, get on down the road.
Right. Yeah. Cause I mean, those feelings are still meant to be felt. Like I know that sometimes it's hard for, especially mindset wise, when people are trying to change their mindset from like a fairly negative to a fairly positive, like that stuff doesn't happen overnight, but you also have to kind of like, why is this happening? Why are these my thoughts? And also changing them is not easy either, because it took me a long time too, of just hearing those thoughts and be like, no bitch, no time for you. Bye-bye. We're not thinking that way today. We're not doing that today. And then like replacing it with like 3 positives, like whatever it may be. So mindset is huge. And I feel like this like process is like a really great start for changing that, seeing it, feeling it, being it, helping. I don't know. So.
Yeah, no, it's so good. You're, photographer, psychiatrist, psychologist, counselor, friend.
All of it. I wear a lot of hats.
100%. So where do most of your clients come to you from?
So I have a VIP Facebook group. It's a women's empowerment group. And I do like a combination of things. Like I do a lot of like funny memes. I do like interactive posts. I post a couple pieces of like boudoir pictures a day just to like, and that's so nice too, because when the clients give me a release, like the model release, I post those pictures and then it's like, boom, I'm feeling really shitty. All of a sudden, Ashley posted this picture, tagged me, and all these people are like, damn girl, you look great. Or wow, this is fire. Wow, this is beautiful. I love that piece on you. Your hair looks great. And then it's just like, dang, I just had all of these women, like I just had 25 women compliment me and I wasn't even expecting it. So it's like this whole group, this whole vibe is all about, empowering each other, making each other feel great. And then like, but it's not just the positives. It's like, hey, are you having a bad day? Like share that with us. Let us help you. Let us like send you love and light. Let us be supportive for you. How can we help you? So that's where the majority of my clients come from. I would say probably like 75% of my clients, friends adding friends, and then like being secret watchers where they don't interact at all, but they're just scrolling all the time. They like being in the group, but they don't want to be interactive, which is cool. I'm cool, because then they'll message me like, hey, I've been in your group for a year and I've been watching for a long time and I think I'm ready. And I'm like, yes. And I'm like, I don't even know who this person is. They've been in here for a long time, but that's the thing, is they've worked with me without working with me for a year. They have seen who I am. They have come to know me and trust me without actually meeting me. And so they're like, fine, I'm ready to be vulnerable. I guess I'm going to do this. Let's schedule a call or whatever. So that's where like most of my clients come from. I have gotten probably the other 25% from like Instagram. And then I've started a TikTok, but I'm still trying to figure that algorithm out. Like, y'all, that is hard when you're in the business that I'm in, because TikTok is like, oh, is that cleavage? You cannot show cleavage. Like, oh, yeah. Is that part of a butt crack? Nope, not today. Hey, we'll post people in swimming suits all day, but heaven forbid someone show some cleavage. So that's
it's part of our body. Like we can't help that it's there. I mean, well, I can because I don't have it, but the women who have it can't help it.
But that's where I get most of my clients from. And I every day someone adds someone new, and I'm really excited because I'm like, how can I change? How can I reach to this person? How can I touch this person in a positive way? I had one of my clients, which really, really touched my heart. She was like, listen, someone added me to this group. And I was like, oh, what kind of bullshit is this? Like some kind of women in lingerie group. Ew. And then, so she joined reluctantly and was like, oh, because she saw it wasn't just about, what some people portray as raunchy or whatever. It's like very classy photography, first of all, but also just very positive environment. And and then she like ended up booking a session. She was like, "This is so crazy. My husband is not going to believe that I actually did this because this is so far out of my element. Like I'm out of my element right now." She booked a session, had a great time, and then she even messaged me like a couple weeks later saying, "This group has been so positive for me. Like it has totally changed my mindset on everything. Like I just am such a more positive person in my everyday life. I honestly wish there was a men's group for men like this that my husband could join so he could see the positive that I see on a daily basis." And I was like,
Wow.
that is so incredible. Thank you so much for that.
Well, you've created this ecosystem where women have, like you said, you're giving them this, you're being a safe place for them and in being relatable, and you're planting an orchard. Some of these trees are growing and hanging out for a while, and then they flower and they engage and they gain from it, not just a set of pictures, but so much more.
Yeah. And even if they don't ever book with me, I know that I'm changing women's lives just by connecting them with other women. So every year I do and I like to do two a year, but for now I'm doing one a year. I do like a big empowerment event and I get like a life coach or a yoga teacher, and we do like a full day of like stuff. And so I sell tickets so that these women can come here. And, even from the group, the last one I did, like serious friendships have come out of it. And it makes me so happy because it's like, I know these two women individually. They never would have met past if I would have never had this event. And they have literally become best friends. Like these two women, every single time I see them hanging out together, I'm just like, I just have like butterflies because I'm so happy that I could connect them because they have two different levels of grief. Like one was really suicidal and one had a brother that died from suicide. And so they
Mhm.
connected and they have just had this beautiful blossoming bond where they care for each other and they love for each other. And it's making me teary eyed just thinking about it. But it's just beautiful to watch and knowing that I brought those women together so that they can have that friendship. And so that's what I look forward to is like having more of these events, connecting these women that are on the path of healing, whether I do just a small portion, but I connect them with, life coaches and people that are helping rewire their brain and just doing exercises and feeling like they're in a safe space. Not, it doesn't have to just be through boudoir, but if you just, put yourself out there and find these connections, they're always divinely inspired anyways. It's just how do you get those connections?
Yes, and to know that you had even the smallest part of that is so rewarding.
So rewarding.
It's so seriously freaking wholesome. I love it.
I and there are two girls that are super active in my group. Like they're in my top 100 because the way Facebook works, they have like a list of who's the most active in your group. And so I see them all the time. And I've come to know, those people, the more they post, the more I get to know these people. So the silent assassins, I would call them. I don't really know because they're not active. They don't post anything, but they're watching, right? They're like, oh, I like this community. I come here every day and I just watch. But the ones that are active, I can actually get to know their personalities and we talk back and forth. And then maybe one day they make the jump and they book the session like, hey, I've been here for so long. So it's a really beautiful community that just continues to grow and blossom. And I'm so grateful, so much gratitude for
It
being
goes a
here.
long way. It
Yeah.
really goes a long way. When people finally get that box ticked off, they're like, oh, okay, now I get what people are talking about.
Yeah.
So what does it look like to actually be your client? I know you said you have a conversation first, and
Mhm.
then walk us through people that are listening, your audience. What
Yeah.
does it look like to work with you?
So first I have them inquire and say, like, just tell me a little about them. So then we schedule a consultation. It's about a 15-minute consultation where I go over all the details, what to expect, how long. So typically my sessions are Monday through Friday if I have to, typically Monday through Thursday, and then 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So it's like a full day luxury experience. So I tell them all the details about it. I send them a ton of emails in between booking and come walking through my door, just because there's a lot of women that are nervous. What if I don't find anything? What if I don't have anything? Like, and so I'm like, my cell phone number, you have it. I'm here. We have booked. text me when you have questions about outfits. And we will I've had girls call me FaceTime when they're at Victoria's Secrets. I'm trying on this. What do you think about this? Or screenshot me hey, I'm shopping on Shein. These are a couple outfits. What do you think? And I can give them feedback. And so I'm here to help them through all of that. But also sometimes you'll feel a little bit of, oh, I don't know about this. And I'm message me, text me, let me be here. Let me support you because that's what I'm here for. So whenever it comes to session day itself, I have them come in at 9:00, and all of my sessions include professional hair and makeup. So we have an artist come into the studio and we do about 60 minutes of hair and makeup. And that's also catered to what their look is. If they want to go a little bit more natural, if they want to go a little bit more glam. Again, we're just crafting this whole experience around their vibe, their energy, and what their needs are. So that's also a really great time for us to just shoot the shit, talk back and forth, be vulnerable, share stories. My life has been like this. This is how I relate to you. Just, women listening, just connecting. Which also kind of helps break the ice and that nervousness of, hey, I'm about to be partly naked in front of some woman that I've never met before, right? We've talked, but have we met in person? So then it comes to the lingerie part, which I do have a client wardrobe that I provide for my clients if they want. It is sanitized. Some people are like, that's weird. I'm like, but is it? You go and try on clothes at the store all the time. I actually sanitize my stuff in between every single session, but that's some things that people just, this is their thoughts until they ask the question and they're like, oh, okay, it's clean, it's sanitized, it goes through the whole washing process. So then I also help my clients pick out their outfits. When they walk in, we pick out 3 to 5 outfits for their shoot. And that can be any combination of what they have and what I have, which I also like to elaborate on. It does not have to be lingerie every single time. You can bring in a Calvin Klein sports bra and panty and we can rock that. You can do a band t-shirt and a thong or a hipster. You can do your husband's button up t-shirt. It doesn't have to be overly revealing. It doesn't have to be sexy. Sexy is what you feel. It is not a thing. It is how you feel. And what your vibe and energy is going towards. What is your walk away from this? So I have some clients that are a little bit more modest and don't want to show a lot. And then I have other clients that are like, let's do full nude. You know what? I never thought I'd be here. I never thought I'd be in this room. And here we are. Let's do it. And I'm not saying displayed for everybody. I'm saying, let's play in some black satin sheets and just be, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So guiding clients on wardrobe, what's going to look good for them. I send them emails on that information too. Hey, what's your body shape? These are the pieces that look good on you. Here's some places to shop. Thinking about prepping the week of your session, make sure you drink lots of water, get your nails done, get your roots touched up, day before, just drink lots of water, eat a light breakfast, not a heavy breakfast, all of these details. I'm sending them information all the time just because I want them to be and feel fully prepared. Not they're just I'm not a shoot and burn photographer, where you walk in, you have 30 minutes and you walk out. It's a whole energy. It's a whole vibe. So they come in, hair and makeup is finished. The artist leaves, and then it's just her and I shooting from 60 to 90 minutes. And I say that because, again, like I told you earlier, it's important for me to be a woman at some point and just set the camera down and let them be vulnerable if they need to. I've had clients where I can tell they're clamming up and their shoulders are tense, and I read and I can tell. Even if a client puts on an outfit and we're posing and I'm like, do you like this outfit? And they're like, I'm like, I can tell because it's coming across in the pictures, because you're even though you think that you're not tense, I can see that you're tense. I can tell by the way you are that you don't love the way this feels. So let's change it. Let's do something different. And that's happened in clients that bring their own pieces. And they're like, oh. Well, I'm like, then let's not do it. We don't have to do it, sis. Let's change something else. I've got this whole wardrobe in here. Let's pick something else out. Also, I have a bathtub and a shower, so we can do fun bathtub pictures with bubbles, a bubble bath, kind of sexy, but again, not revealing. It's all about the vibe and the energy that you want. What do you want to how do you feel sexy? Is it you in a t-shirt and some tall knee socks? Because that's sexy if you want it to be. It does not have to be. Now, I do have some darker black strappy lingerie with zippers and all crazy stuff. And it's just, what is it to you? Some people run with their fantasies and bring really crazy stuff. And then other clients, really calm, really modest. It's all about what you want. It's not about me. The only thing that's really about me is making you feel comfortable, making you feel like it's a safe space, and making sure that I pose you in a way that is flattering for you. Because I've had so many clients come to me and say, I've had this bad experience with this other photographer and the pictures didn't come out well and they weren't complimenting. I mean, I'm like, yes, if someone's sitting there telling me that, oh, I'm not doing that right, am I going to feel good? Am I going to want us to keep doing it? No, I'm going to tense up and I'm going to feel a little bit, a lot more vulnerable, and like maybe not be in a mindset where I can relax and do the posing and feel the feeling I'm supposed to feel. But if someone's telling you that doesn't look good, maybe you should do this, and they're not giving you like word by word, it's that's on the photographer. That is not the client. So like with me, I get in these poses with my clients and I explain to them, I'm like, I'm on the bed, I'm on my knees. I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing here. This is going to happen here, blah, 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 blah. Your chin here, shoulders here. And then I let them do it and I tweak it and then I hype them up. It's all about hyping them up and making them know that they're doing a great job. Because just like anything in life, if someone tells you you're doing something wrong, are you going to do it better? No, you feel like shit first. First, you're like, okay, great, I fucking suck now. And then all these negative thoughts come across your mind. So then it's about hyping them up and just leading them through that experience. Like I am the professional, not them. So I'm so sad when clients come in with terrible past experiences. But then again, that's where my healing comes into play, is healing them from that journey, making them know, yes, they can do it. Yes, they are worthy of it. Yes, they are beautifully divine, feminine, all the things. And that shit's in the past. And we're not going to let that affect us anymore.
That's right.
So after that, we do the pictures. I send them to lunch. I have them come back 90 minutes later after I fully edited all of their images. We sit down, we do a gallery reveal. Some of them cry, some of them laugh, some of them like, oh my God, I can't believe that's me. And then we design albums and they're out the door. If they like buy a collection with digitals, they get those the same day, which is my favorite because then they can send them to their besties like, hey, look what I just did. Or like sneak a peek into their husband's text message box and be like, hey, look, this is what you have to come home to, it's just, and then I always encourage my clients, go out on a date night, go out with your girlfriends. You've got your hair and makeup done. You're on this energy high of feeling great. Live it out. Feel it out. Don't just go home and do laundry.
Please don't go home and do laundry.
I know you want to, but go treat yourself to the rest of the day. And just because you are feeling, it's like a euphoric high. I'm just like, I really am beautiful. And it's like, it's a change in mindset. So that's what it looks like to work with me.
I love it. That's awesome. And I love that you're doing it the same day. I mean, not just from your client perspective, but just as a business owner, I know so many photographers, and what are they always busy doing? Editing, because they take all the pictures and they edit later, and later turns into later and later and later and later. And then it's like the anticipation is only so much when you're waiting on pictures. And then you're like, okay, I've waited a month now. Am I ever getting those pictures back? But I've been there. So that's great that you deliver same day.
Well, the excitement dies, right? And it's the same like when someone inquires with me. If I don't respond to them pretty quickly, that excitement of, oh my God, I actually did this kind of starts to die. So you have to get them when they're excited about it and when they're like willing to. And the same thing with getting their pictures back. If they have time to think about, maybe I didn't do it good enough, then they might come back with a different mindset, but they're already in this euphoric high. So I have them come back to the studio same day. And it's just really exciting. And just in general, with excluding my videos might take a little bit longer, but when I do like empowerment shoots just with women doing, like I just did a senior session for a girl that just graduated law school. I'm doing like a fitness thing for another client. Like those sessions are shaped a little bit differently, but I always deliver in a week or less because that's important to me. And I never book myself in a way where I'm taking on so many clients that I cannot get them their pictures back in time. Because for me, before I was a photographer, that was like so exciting to get those pictures. And when you're riding that high of excitement and you're like, just like thrilled about it, it feels so much better and you're just so much more happy whenever you get your stuff back. So I just feel like as far as my business goes, that's why I do it that way. I'm not saying that other photographers are doing it wrong because that's their business. That's the way they run their business. I run my business this way because this was important to me. And so that even my weddings, I don't ever book hardly weddings back to back because that takes me so much time. The longest I've delivered a wedding is 8 days. And that's because I had to
Wow.
go to the dentist and have an abscess tooth removed. And I had to email them saying, hey, I'm sorry, I'm down for the count for like 3 days. Can you give me? And they're like, absolutely. Most photographers don't get your wedding pictures back for like 3-4 months. So yes, an extra day or two is fine.
Right. Yeah, that is super fast turnaround time. And you're right. It helps with that anticipation and the appreciation of it all.
Yeah.
So do you have a studio or somewhere that you're constantly in, or do you go to different places for each client?
So I have a studio in my home. It is out in the country. It's in Jones, which is really great. So when I have if I have a client that wants to do an outdoor boudoir session, it's
Oh.
safe. It's, with some studios, you're worried about people walking by the window. You know what I mean? Like I can do window shots, I can do outdoor shots, and I live in the country. So I have lots of shade, lots of beautiful lush green. So my studio is home. I also have like a seamless paper and stuff like that, but that's a different part. I do travel for pictures depending on like what the needs are. I do a lot of outdoor photography, but I also travel a little bit for like weddings and stuff. So I'm doing a 15-year vow renewal in Iceland in September, and I'm doing
Whoa.
and I'm doing a wedding in November in Alaska. So I do a little bit of traveling for some of my clients as well. It just kind of depends on what everybody's needs are. But most of the time, like boudoir wise, Monday through Friday, I'm in the studio here at the house. My hair and makeup artist comes here a little early. We talk about, needs of the client. Client comes in. It's a whole day.
So do you have aspirations to train other photographers to work under you in your business? Or do you think it will always just be you?
That is such a good question that I'm not sure. I've had several photographers that reach out to me and say, I love your work. Do you ever teach workshops? Are you ever doing any of that? But I'm on such a big spiritual journey right now. Like, I think that this is just a chapter in my book. I think that this definitely will be a part of my life forever, but I have big aspirations in like the spiritual world and healing people. And like, I can't say for sure. Like part of me says yes, but part of me also says no. And so I'm in this limbo because I have so many people ask me all the time, and I am very much community over competition. So when people ask questions, like I'm totally in for it. Now, am I into giving out my information for free? Like, hey, this is how I run my business, and this is all the
Yeah.
information I paid thousands of dollars from these other photographers. Here's it for free. No, I don't do that.
No.
But I've helped certain photographers, at different times do different things, even to the point of this. I don't even know if I want to go down that road, but teaching people and it coming back to bite me in the ass. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Sure,
Letting
of course.
people in my space thinking that it was safe and trying to help them, and then it coming back and I'm like, okay, universe, I see you. I see what I did here. I opened myself up. This is a lesson I've learned. I'm going to move past it. So I feel like that part of that story that is a long one that I'm not going to go into is part of why I'm holding out on doing that. But I know that I probably would do well at it. I just don't know if that's part of my journey yet. I feel like more healing is kind of part of my journey. Like I've reached out to a friend of mine on like Reiki healing. I've been
Mhm.
very curious about that. And I feel like curiosity is intuition telling you like, this might be something to dabble in. So, being able to maybe have a boudoir session and then like later in the evening, being able to like heal women in other ways could be really powerful for me. I just feel like that is like my purpose is like not so much a teacher, more so a healer. I guess I am teaching women to heal. So I guess
Yeah.
it's perspective, I guess.
You've absolutely, I mean, it sounds like you've identified your infinite purpose, and photography is a finite project in that infinite purpose and is filling this purpose right now, but there's so much more available to be a relatable and authentic and holding a safe place for women. There's a lot that can go into that. So I love that you're open to the other avenues and the other finite projects that can fill that infinite purpose in your life.
Absolutely. That's what I'm looking forward to most. It's like trust the process. Timing will work itself out. I'm living the best I can right now, doing the best I can now. And when another opportunity presents itself to me, I will be more open and jump onto it more than I probably would have in the past.
So tell our listeners a little bit about how your partner and your child have played a role in this for you. I know it's nearly impossible to do it without the support of your family. What does that look like for you?
Well, my husband has been incredibly supportive. He, with some men, I don't want to say men, but some partners, they may not understand the whole boudoir process, right? And I feel like sometimes it's definitely you have to have like a behind the scenes look to understand what's going on. And so he has been so supportive. Like he has gone and jumped through every single hoop for me when I'm like, hey, I want to change the studio. This is what I want to do. I'm going to paint this. We're going to design that. We're going to build this. I'm going to buy that. This is how it's going to work now. Now I'm going to do this. Like I'm a Gemini, so I'm very like all the time, very energetic, but also like change. And so he's been very, very supportive of my whole like thing. He's very supportive of me working out of the house and giving my clients space. So he actually is self-employed as well. He specializes in tile. And so he lays like really intricate tiles and stuff. So he doesn't have like a normal like 9 to 5 job. He's in and out of the house, but he knows on days where I have clients, it's very important to me to protect their space. And so he honors that to make sure like all my clients feel super comfortable, that he's never here. And then also for my son, obviously I plan the hours to be when he's typically in school, with the summer being the exception. And he's like, oh, mom, do you have a client today? He's 5. Oh, mom, do you have a client today? And I'm like, yes, man. He's like, okay, cool. He's just a boy who loves his mom, and he wouldn't care either way. So there's a lot of gratitude and I'm just grateful to have the people around me that support me. Like even my family, like extended family. When I first got into it, I was a little weary of how my grandma was going to act. Like, oh, you're like, how is this? And so I did a boudoir session before I like really launched my business with another photographer. And I have a picture of me in my bathroom. It's a 16 by 24 metal print. I'll never forget it. I was telling her and I had showed her pictures like, Ashley, these are incredible. These are so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Just not my pictures, just pictures I was taking. And she was like, wow, I'm just like, she like wanted to support me. And literally it was like, my grandma was like, I've got some lingerie. Do you think you could use that for your client wardrobe? I'm like, Grandma, send it. Like, we'll see what happens. And I'm like, maybe I can turn it into a vintage shoot because some of these pieces are kind of vintage. But she comes into my bathroom, which is like part of my studio. And there's that picture of me and she goes, oh my God, John, my grandpa, John, you got to come see this. And it's like, again, not overly revealing. It's a picture of me sitting on a couch in like just a strappy piece. So it has a little bit of like my backside. And she's like, oh my God, look at, and she, so she's just been very, very supportive, and even to the point of like supporting me. So I haven't gotten any negative feedback from family, which when you're stepping into a kind of weird, not weird, just a different like job and title and identity, it's kind of, it makes you kind of weary of, am I like, what's going to be the feedback? And I finally to that point now where I really don't give a fuck.
Right.
Anybody says, when I get some sort of naysayer on like TikTok or Instagram, I'm like, your lack of confidence is showing. Like your insecurities are showing. If you were insecure about women feeling more confident in themselves, because this is, and there's a very fine line of inappropriate pictures, appropriate pictures, classy pictures, and porn. So you just like, I always I tell people I don't do that. And I've had some weird questions, sis. Like I had somebody message me, and you can cut this out if you want. I had someone message me like, hey, do you do couples pictures? I'm like, yeah, I do love doing couples boudoir. He's like, okay, what about 2 couples? I was like, whoa, where's this going? I was like, can you please elaborate for me? He's like, essentially, 2 couples. So I was like, that's not where I specialize, but best of luck on your journey, finding the right photographer. And, I'm not a person of judgment. I'm like, to each their own, but no, that's not my genre.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I love that you have the support of your family, because I mean, boudoir or something different aside, just stepping out of a 9 to 5, a stable corporate America job or something like that is enough to put any grandparent or parent, at least from my experience in the area we grew up in, it's a certain kind of way. Like you go to college, you get a good job, you get the watch after 30 years. This is how we do things. And jumping out to start a business is enough to put anyone on a tailspin, much less something that's a little risque. But I'm so glad you have the support of your husband and child and grandmama and everybody. It's awesome.
Especially whenever it all comes based off of a tarot card reading.
Right. Yeah. They're like, oh, where is she going?
Like, wow, she lost her mind. But I'm like, if I hadn't like just followed my intuition and gone with that like gut instinct of this is too many signs at once to not listen, then I wouldn't be sitting in this chair. Like it seemed like so in 2012, I graduated from college. I applied to the program 2 or 3 years in a row, every year with defeat. Why are they not letting me in? Why can I not do this? Why, like, what am I doing so wrong? That was the universe telling me, sis, you have bigger plans. This is not the path for you. Did I understand it then? No. But the moral of the story there is when something happens, and my friend told me this, and it's so powerful. When something happens, it happens for you, not to you. It happens for you. There's a bigger purpose. There's a better plan, but sometimes it's hard to see at first. So you just have to trust the process.
You do. When you screw up, that's the universe saying, oh, good, you found a way that didn't work. Now, I'm so glad you failed fast. Now move to the next damn thing. Let's go.
Yep.
Yes.
Moving on up.
I love it. Well, Ashley, we are almost out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. Please tell our listeners where they can find you to do business with you and become empowered.
Absolutely. So I have 2 different websites depending on what your needs are. So for boudoir wise, it's www.ashleystclairphoto.info. If you're looking for just a couples fun, because I'm fun and feisty, couples fun photographer for weddings or for films. I like to do films for like women's empowerment groups and stuff, workshops. You can find me there at www.ashleystclairphotoandfilms.com. You can also find me on Instagram. And then if you are a woman looking for an empowered group of women, you can find my VIP group on Facebook just by going to my business page. So.
All right. You heard it right there, folks. This is Ashley St. Clair. Get with her for all your photography needs. And if you are a woman who needs to see her worth, her beauty, and be empowered, absolutely book us a day with her and view it for yourself. I think there's only one way to know that, and that's to experience it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashley.